Hello, lovely people. I'm Shaq, and welcome. I know it's been a while, but I kept hoping that getting some test results or whatever would help with the overwhelm or something. Something would shift, and it would be less overwhelming. And I think I've just gotten used to the level of chaos, and so we're making a video today. I want to make a lamp for the living room in the Sindy house, the cardboard house. So we're gonna do that, but first I was taking pictures for next weekend's market, and I'll have to clear that away first. So as soon as I get that done, we'll start putting together a lamp. I've done a lot of prep work to try and get this ready to go and make it easier to film. I cut out 2 squares from a piece of thin wood that I had. It's actually being reused from a project that broke. So I cut 2 squares the same size. They're about 1 1/4 inch square, I think, with the idea in mind that they would accommodate the battery pack in here. But I want the battery pack to stick out. Now I'm having trouble getting it in here, and it fit in just, there we go. All right, so I want the battery out the back. So that's to accommodate the battery pack. And I cut a hole because my battery pack has a switch in line. So I need to feed the wires through and set that up before I can glue the box together. Make sure I've got that the right side up. And we're having a little bit of trouble getting our wire on the right side so that it goes through. So now that I've got it through, gotta remember which way I want it oriented so that it's covered by the next part of the project. So I'm going to just glue that together. And while this little box is setting up, I am going to show you what I've done here with the for the lampshade. I had 2 wooden circles, one just slightly bigger than the other one. This would have been actually easier if I'd done 2 circles the same size, but I kind of wanted that triangulation. I drilled holes through the smaller so that I could slide this wire piece in here. This, see if you can see the wire here, is bent so that it gives it more surface area to put the little final on top and attach to the top of the post. Anyway, so I drilled a hole here, and then we have to just slide it into one side, and then I can slide it into the other side, and it pretty much just tensions itself in place. This is brass wire. I'm having trouble finding the hole. There we go. Make sure that it's flush on both sides for the next step. But then I attached, these are pieces of just cardstock that I attached the 2 rings together so that I wouldn't have to struggle with it. Another thing that it could have been done here was clear plastic, but I was struggling with the whole math of this curve, and it wasn't until I had this that I was able to create that. So that's why I didn't use clear plastic. If it had just been, like I said, the straight tube, I could have used clear plastic, and that would have probably been a lot easier. But what I want to do now is, this is my lampshade cover, and I want to glue it on here. So not only am I going to put glue on each of the uprights, I also want to apply it around here. So I'm going to stop and do that. Also opted to not worry about the edges. I just used my scallop shears on those. I probably shouldn't have gone that way. Just gave myself a gluey spot. So I have been working on my clothing for myself. Oddly enough, I had projects waiting for me to attend to. Like, there was a pair of pants that was cut out for Arthur that were not going to fit him. Because well, you know, you wait too long and you change sizes, I guess. And so I was trying to make them work for me, and I succeeded. I had to add some material to it because Arthur was a lot skinnier when he cut him out. And so I got those came together okay, and they've got great pockets, and I'm pleased with them. And I also took apart a crocheted shirt that I wasn't wearing and made it up into the vest you saw me wearing today, or waistcoat if you prefer. I actually prefer waistcoat, but you know, years of training to call it a vest. And I think I've done some other projects that we're just sitting waiting, you know, as I try to occupy my hands to chill my brain. And it works fairly well. Hopefully this is going to line up right. Get to reapply that glue that I stuck on there prematurely. Then we just do our seam down the back. Looks like I need a little bit more glue. Guess the other choice would be to cut off that extra fabric. Ended up with a little more overlap than I needed. Okay. Trying to get a little bit of tension on here. Not too much, just a little bit. I think that's better. We'll let that set up. I think I'm going to set it upside down. So this is the upright on the it's a floor lamp. Let's see if we're set up enough. I think we are. So I want to glue this over the top of the majority of that hole to cover it. And honestly, the back side is less of an issue, but if I do line it up with that, it is more centered. And I guess I wasn't really worrying about center when I started this, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to clamp this in place. I didn't plan for that. You know, when you had to have the hole a certain size in order to get the switch through, and now you got the task of covering it. And I suppose I could put a piece of cardstock or something over it, but then I still have to have the wires come through and accommodate that. I don't know. Just didn't want to think about it. So we're going to let this set up because I'm not able to do anything else until it's set up. I didn't mention where I got these, and that's partially because I am not 100% certain. I was going to go look and see if it was part of a purchase from Micromark, but anyway, I bought them enough years ago that I'm not even sure if they're still available, but it's takes a button battery, the 2025, CR 2025 button battery, that, see, I get it oriented correctly. And then, and this one's got a little bit of a loose connection here because of the way I did the wiring up here at the bulb. And the bulb is from some balloon lights that after their batteries died, I just hung on to them in the hopes of being able to do something like this, where I could get a different controller and put it in here. But the switch allows you to turn it off and turn it on. And I didn't get one of these connections tight enough. So that's part of the reason why occasionally the light blinks. So that is what I'm trying to do over here, is get the connection put in here correctly. I bent, so it has aluminum wires coming out of the bottom of the bulb, and they're really, really easy to break. And so that's kind of what happened on the other one, is the aluminum broke off too short for me to really get a good hook on there. And I have folded it up into a hook because since I can't solder it, I need a way for the wire that I'm about to twist around here to have a stop. Otherwise, it just wants to pull right off the bottom. And and I gotta say that this is not easy. So I'm trying to twist this around here, and so that we've got enough twists around that it gets caught by the hook that I created with the aluminum. And this would be so much easier if I could solder, because then it'd be a nice, good connection and I wouldn't be fighting with the wire. Oh my goodness. And this is part of the reason why I did the other one off camera, is because it is so fiddly. Okay, I'm almost there. Also, my glue on this, try not to disturb it because it's holding right now. I just know that it's probably pretty easy to mess it up. So once I've got this in here, I'm going to very cautiously close this a little bit, not too much, because it will break. It's very aluminum, just if you bend it back and forth a couple times and it breaks on you. At least this stuff does. I haven't had a whole lot of luck with other aluminum wire either. So this is a shrink wrap specifically created for the purposes of covering wire connections. And I am going to go heat that. So I took some bamboo straws, which are not easy to cut without breaking them. But I used an X-Acto knife, and it seems to have worked fairly well. I have a pretty clean cut. Then I also opened it up. Now, I don't like plastic straws, but I think in this application, if you are somebody who has plastic straws around, it's easier. I don't have plastic straws around, but they would definitely be easier to use. So I'm enclosing this in here. I was just trying to think of another source of tubing that, oh, one of our wires is longer than the other. That's just going to complicate it from the standpoint of getting it to smoothly go in there. So I'm going to twist it around here to tighten it up. Maybe. That's a little better. So now I have to coax it to go into that slice. And the other side I've already done, and below the switch. Oh, it was not easy. Thought maybe this side would be easier. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be just as contrary. One of the things I'm seeing I need to do is actually trim that there with, or it won't fit in. Again, I'm really cautious about bending those aluminum wires there. So maybe find a light. I mean, I had it, so that I'm here and I'm using it. But I know there is a source of miniature lighting stuff out there. I think they had their own website that was something like Mini Lights. Hopefully they're still in business and you can get supplies for this kind of project. And you notice that we popped out over here. All that wiggling around. Okay, so once I get this in here, the idea will be to glue it in place over the against the piece of wood, and hopefully, yeah. Anyway, we'll be back. So everything kind of went pear-shaped, and I actually had to start over because there was some kind of break in the line of the wiring, and I couldn't find it. So I got out another battery pack switch, because I got like 5 of them or 6 of them in when I ordered them. Anyway, so it's all attached and glued onto the post, which is really hard to see at this angle, but I'm trying to get the glue down here to set up, and I'm gonna have to leave it overnight. So we'll come back to this in the morning. I wanted to give a little bit of an update on the train table. So it warped, and you'll remember I weighted it down to flatten it out, and that worked. And then when I hung it, within a week it was warped again. And as you can see, we've got passenger cars now, which I'm going to modify. But the train cannot travel the track. The incline that the warp creates, because I thought, oh, it'll just be like, we'll just treat it like terrain, you know, just a little bit of an incline. Well, apparently the cars that I have weigh too much to be able to make it around the track. It can't handle that incline, and the wheels are spinning like crazy. That it's just not getting purchase on the track in an uphill mode, and I'm not sure how to fix that other than to build a new table, which is going to require that I wait and get lumber that'll keep a flatter surface, because really all I didn't want inclines and stuff. So I'm thinking that maybe I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna redo the table, but that'll take a while because I don't have the money for it. So but that's what's going on, is like I hit a wall and I can't go any further with my train, and in fact we got to go backwards. But at least we figured out how to raise it up to the ceiling, and all of that works. And we've got the train, we've got the track, and we've got the controller. So we can, you know, once we get the table worked out, we'll be able to move forward with decorating and building little buildings. And I think I also want to do a tunnel in the back side over here where they travel through a tunnel, and we have skiing on the tunnel or something on the outside, not in it. Anyway, that's my update for the train. I hope you appreciate it. Here we are back this morning, and it is solidly attached here at the base. It's a little bit of glue mess, kind of. I've also put a mark back here to let me know which way to put the battery in, just in case I forget. And we are working just fine. So I carved this down just a little bit so that the lampshade would fit on here, just past the top there. just so it'd have a little bit of a hook in. Then I bent a piece of brass wire, the same brass wire there, and I've got a bead, and I'm just gonna glue the brass wire into the hole I drilled up here and place the bead on. I'm just gonna dab that on there, and that'll catch some of it. My glue does not flow anymore. Putting glue onto the post here to make sure that it gets good and stuck. Probably should have stuck the bead in first, but it doesn't actually matter. I'm going to end up with glue on the inside of our bead, so I think I'm going to just stick some more glue on here below. And there. Need to free up my hand so I can balance this. There we go. Feel like it's gone in all the way. I think we'll just face that this way. There we go. We have a lamp, so let's go put it in the dollhouse. Here we are with our lamp lit up in the dollhouse. I think it adds a little something over there in the corner. And I really would like to get some curtains on the windows, but I had this idea that I had some ribbon that would match this furniture, and I can't find it. So I'm kind of putting it off, trying to find the ribbon and figure out where I stashed it, because I know it's still here. I've ran across it. I just can't remember where. That's the problem with having stashes of craft goods. Sometimes you misplaced them. You can't figure out what happened. We're looking a little more spring in here. And I really think it would add, just to add some curtains, don't you? And I'm thinking maybe we need something else in here. Like, the lamp was great, curtains would be good, but what else would you add into the living room? Let me know in the comments. And hopefully you have a delightful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.